So Brooks, tell me, why exactly do you gold mine?
It all started with camping, actually. I found these roads that would go in the middle of nowhere, and they all ended up being gold mines. So I figured I'd camp out there for days, might as well start gearing up and getting some gold and whatnot. And then I got the fever. The gold fever is real for how inert this stuff is. It gets in your blood and your veins. So doing the research and everything, figuring out where gold actually comes from, because you're trying to get it. Gold comes from supernovas, stars
No way.
exploding after they implode. It's a fascinating science because, like, usually solar systems have two stars that circle each other, and when they implode, then you get a bunch of fine gold going through the entire universe. But a singular solar star that implodes and explodes, like our sun, when it explodes, it has huge chunks of gold just going through the galaxies and asteroids and stuff like that. And when Earths like ours are formed, they're all molten, and all the heavy stuff like uranium and lead and gold seep down to the core because they're heavy. But as the geothermal process cools and heats up and spins out, we have volcanoes, which then brings all the uranium and gold and lead back up to the surface. And that's what we're collecting, is supernova material. These are tears of the sun. That's what the Greeks said. That's what the Aztecs said. I forget who said it first. But they called it tears of the sun, but they were 100% right, because we are picking up remnants of a star in some distant solar system somewhere. And in that way, I am hooked. It's beautiful. I geek out on this stuff, and it's physically active. It's physically active stuff. You social distance the heck out of yourself. You come out here, you cook, you bake. My buddies shoot guns and stuff. I collect gold. And the thing about gold versus fishing is, yeah, you can eat a fish, but fish is perishable. Right now I have gold on my shelf that's years old, and it's not going to go anywhere throughout time. It will always be gold, but it's non-perishable, and I like to give it away as gifts because it's super shiny and people like it. But there's something to be said for picking up the tears of the stars on the ground of your own feet. Beautiful.
Sounds like you've done all of the science and all the research to kind of back up where it came from. Let's talk about practicality. How much have you actually picked up?
My mom has an ounce around her neck. So I picked up an ounce, and she fell ill with cancer, and I gave her a good luck vial of gold, which is an ounce around her neck. But all in all, I probably only collected like 3 or 4 ounces in total, but I give them away. I like to say my gold mining pays for Christmas, because I give it away as Christmas presents, that and gas cards, so that way I don't have to pick up gifts that nobody wants anyways. But when I give people gold, like little gold vials and stuff, hands down, everybody wants that gold and keeps it for a long time because it's beautiful and it gets in your soul.
So it's all about the journey.
It's all about the journey. I like to think of myself as an explorer, right? I'm not a bicyclist, I'm not a hiker, I'm not a gold miner. I do all these things, but I'm an explorer. And one thing I know about gold is you will never have enough of it. So might as well just start giving it away to people you love.
That's a great sentiment. You compare that to your journey in life as well?
I suppose so. There's never enough of anything, right? So spread it around. Try to do what you can do. I like my gold specimens. I keep some that are large enough at home, some pickers. I got a 7-gram nugget in my car right now for good luck. Beautiful, beautiful items.
Now that you've said that, make it real clear that we're not going to go ahead and give your car make, model, and license plate out.
Oh yeah. For those who know the white whale and everything, they know that truck. But if they know the white whale, then I've already probably given them enough gold that they don't need to rob me.
So you're doing this for hobby. You're doing this for fun. You're doing this for meditation purposes. How does that translate into your business?
Just keep on digging. Do the work. You know, if you do the right thing consistently over and 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 over, you're going to see results. You know, it's not about the work necessarily on the dirt. It's how much dirt you put through the sluice. I mean, everywhere around here has gold. It's just a matter of how many tons can you go through. Same thing with real estate. It's about how many doors you can knock, how many people you can introduce yourself to. The more people that know that you are a real estate agent, the more likely that you're going to be able to get a listing or get a sale. Like yesterday, I was out here gold mining, and somebody I had talked to a year ago calls me up, and thank goodness I have my Verizon reception because I do business while I'm doing gold mining, and I got a listing. Boom. I talked to her a year ago. She was super impressed. We've touched base ever since, And that's doing the work, just getting in front of it. Similar to gold mining, doing the work is just putting how many tons you could possibly put through into the sluice. Some people gear up and have full-on tractors and make a full-on business of it, and they're doing the work. They're putting the tons through. But we have 150 acres of private claim and 1 shovel. Just keep on doing the work. You're going to find the gold. You're going to get the listings. It translates into my work identically. It just is what it is. Just keep on moving forward, as well as having fun. I have fun doing this. I'm a physical kind of guy. I like being out in the wilderness. I'm a sociable kind of guy as well. So the real estate industry is an industry of people. Congratulations. Now you have a license to socialize. I do yard sales. I do park parties. I knock on doors on neighbors, and we just chat away. That's what the job is. You're just trying to make sure that people know that you are a real estate agent. And that's pretty much it. Outside that, you just got to sell or buy the damn home. And then it comes down to numbers. And if you can't sell or buy the damn home, get a different job, because that's the easiest part. The hardest part, and that's why they call me the prospector, the hardest part is prospecting. Getting those leads, getting those numbers, staying in contact with these people. And it's an industry of people. You better be sociable. I'm about to introduce you to the man behind the curtain of Snowbird Nation, the genius behind the CRM, Mr. Mike Searcy. Dr. Mike Searcy. We allowed him out of the office today so he can go gold mining for the first time.
I am gold mining for the first time, and it's an amazing experience if you've ever done it, or if you've never done it. You know, you just probably need to become a client of Snowbird Nation and then talk Brooks into taking it, quite frankly.
I will take you. I love the labor.
It's a fun prospect of actually doing just that, prospecting. And so that's what we're doing today, because that's actually what we do all the time. And in fact, I'll tell you, getting out of the office and away from the computer for some time, and sometimes away from the classroom, because I also do a lot of that work as well, both with realtors as well as adults in various higher education institutions. But it's been nice to get out of here, because it's one of those practice what you've been preaching in a different setting, a different life.
Definitely. Have you been enjoying it?
Oh, I love it. This is something that you kind of get out, get a little bit of exercise. I've quite never, frankly, worn, for example, snake boots before to avoid the bite of the snake, but I'm not sure that there's a whole lot here. We haven't seen any, so this is probably just maybe overprotection, but hey, that's okay. In the days that we're in right now, where everyone's staying at home, overprotection seems to be the name of the game.
Yes, it does. Is this how you imagined gold mining was going to be?
No, I expected to be walking into a big mine, into a cave, into a mine shaft with a pickaxe, and doing the hi ho concept, and swinging a pickaxe. I never actually thought I was going to be doing it in a dry gully. And then my other picture, of course, is when we see those old John Wayne movies and things like this, where you've got people actually down with an actual riverbed panning for gold in the water. This is actually really interesting in that we're actually pulling gold out of dirt. Just dirt. This is pretty amazing. I wouldn't have actually thought about it. And you taught me quite a bit that I've been here in the research behind how to find gold, what is gold, and where did it come from, and what do we think its legend is all about. And as such, this has been really an amazing process. I've never even seen one of these machines here before. What do you call it?
It's a dry sluice.
A dry sluice.
In technical terms, it's called a puffer in circles.
A puffer, okay. Well, and I'll tell you what, it was interesting to actually fold this up and backpack this into the site where we are. And that's pretty amazing, because what that does is it makes it so portable for us to go anywhere in the nation, essentially, on backpack, to go find gold anywhere, which is essentially what we do, is it not, in real estate.
How does this translate to real estate?
Well, I'll tell you, once you've prospected, if you will, and we've talked about that in other times, once you've prospected and found people, the whole idea about translating this into real estate from prospecting is basically knowledge. And knowledge will, and here we seek the knowledge, right? We're going through to find certain answers. And once you're able to find those kinds of answers, you become a bit of an expert. And then the trick is being able to relay that to other people so that they understand you are a knowledgeable individual who is looking out as an advocate for the people that you represent. Because it's all about advocacy once the prospecting kind of comes through. And this is really a great representation of actually prospecting and finding answers, doing your research, so that you know when you're dealing with clients, you're looking for building rapport, trust, and loyalty. Because one of the things that we pride ourselves here on Snowbird Nation's Real Estate Group is that when we get customers, they're customers for life. They're clients for life because they're no longer clients, they're family. And that's one of the things that we start off with, being able to start getting into that relationship, is we hold the knowledge. And if we don't actually have the answer, we are not afraid to go find it. And isn't that what this is? We're finding the answers.
Well, hey guys, we are back from gold mining with Mike, the professor. And what we're going to do is take this here pay dirt that we've spent hours in the desert collecting and filtering all the lightweight material from all the heavy material. Now all the heavy material, including the gold, is in this here bucket. So what we do is take my nifty big old pan, and I take a smaller pan to put the metals into, and I'll show you how we do that in a second. And the big pan, put some water in there, and then dump all these concentrates into it. Pay dirt. Ooh, you can smell the gold. Gold and silver, gold and silver. So what you want to do is get it super wet. That way there's no air bubbles or clusters or clumps or nothing like that. Make sure it's all nice and ready to be panned. So before we pan, what we do is we take this magnet. This has a magnet against it, and when I pull this away, the magnet goes away. The reason being, put the magnet against it, and we take all the heavy metals out of here. So if you notice, boom, all those heavy metals. So we want to dust it off a little bit so no gold is trapped in there, and put it in the other pan. And then we do it again and again and again until there's not so much metal attached to it. The thing about gold is it's not magnetic. So by doing this, you're taking all the other heavy metals away, but leaving the other heavy metal, which is gold, but non-magnetic. So this just makes it easier to pan. The big thing about gold mining is you got to classify. Classifying all the time. Big rocks from small rocks. Heavies from other heavies. So I just keep on doing this back and forth and getting grinding in there, and see, there's still a ton of metal. So the name of the game right now is to make it easier to pan by taking all the metal that you can out of that pan. It's a process, it's a pre-process, but it's totally worth it.
So this makes you essentially a panhandler.
A panhandler indeed. Look at that, tons of metal. So the more metal in an area, the better, because it shows that you're digging in an area with a lot of heavy metals. Gold is a heavy metal, so by digging in a heavy metal area, you're digging in a gold-laden area. Oftentimes I find bullets this way too. So pull this out, and if you notice, the metal is starting to become less and less prevalent. See? It's still there, but it's not covering the entire thing like it was before. Maybe a few more flicks of the wrist, a few more magnets of the wand, and we might have gotten a majority of the metal out. Alright, well, I'm happy with that. So, let's start panning for gold. You take the big old pan and you swish it back and forth. We're trying to get all the heavy stuff into one corner. So by switching it back and forth like this, I'm getting all the heavies trapped in the corner over here. So, trying to get the gold in the corner. Gold is going to be heavier than all the other metals or any dirt or water in here. So it's going to be trapped in the corner first thing. And believe me, if there's gold in there, it gets trapped real quick. So then we start slushing off the top. And slushing off the top, because all the top material is all the light material. All the heavy material is below it. After a couple of sloughs, we go back to par and try to get everything down to the corner there, down to the corner. All these little fingers of water are beating that gold down to the corner, and that's what you want, because what's left on the top is all the light material, the not gold stuff. And we're not mining for not gold, so we're stripping the top off, which is all the lighter items. Just stripping it down, stripping it down, stripping it down. And I don't worry about losing gold because I'm doing this all in a big old basin. And when this basin fills up with spent pay dirt, I put all the remnants of the basin through my mini wet sluice, catching all the fine gold I might have lost while doing this process. And you might lose fine gold while doing this process, and that's totally fine as long as you can recover it later, because you want that gold. gold. So solution and sloshing down, taking off the top, taking off the top, and solution and sloshing down, and taking off the top, and taking off the top. So you have an amount of material that you're comfortable with actually panning. You can't pan a pan that's full of dirt. There's just no way. But you can pan a pan that has a little bit of dirt in there. So we're trying to get to the little bit of dirt, a lot of bit of heavies, and we're almost there. It's that quick. We just slosh it off.
For the uninitiated, describe what you mean when you say panning.
Panning? This is a pan. We are panning the gold. We're trying to keep the gold in here and panning the dirt out of it. So technically, I guess you're panning for the dirt to get out of it while retaining the gold on the inside. So when I say panning, I mean grabbing a big old pan like this and panning for the gold to be in the bottom and the dirt to go off the top. So we're in almost a manageable size. And the best way to see gold is in the sunshine. Gold comes from sun, and it's easier to see in the sun. So we come on over here, we tilt this sucker up, and then we start slushing off the top layers until we start seeing some of that cheese, some of that golden cheese. So we're slushing off the top, cleaning up the skirt, slushing off the top a little bit more, cleaning up, and see, I already see a piece of gold right there. Oftentimes, if somebody asks me if this is gold, I tell them it's not gold, because gold you see right away. You know exactly what it is. So we're panning for some more cheese. Yeah, and already we have 3 spots. 1, 2, 3 gold flakes. So I'm just going to show that right up in there because it's not going anywhere anyways. And then clean off the skirt. Take off the top layers. Clean up the skirt. The top layer. And you see there's another piece of gold sticking out over here now. These guys are trying to escape, so let's just put them back up in there. And this guy could just shove back up in there too. Usually with a pan, you end up cleaning it up a couple different times just to make sure that you don't miss any of the gold. Yeah. There's another one too. They're sticking out right here and here. I'm just going to shove those back up in the middle. And just taking off the top, removing the big rocks out of the way, because that's not gold. We don't want that. We want the gold. Ooh, little flake down here trying to get away, so shove it back up in the middle there. Just a process of classifying the whole time. Yeah. Starting to see the gold line produce. Got some gold down in here, and gold up in there. And the gold is real easy to see against the black sands. So if you notice, we have gold there, 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 there. Good flakes. Very nice, very nice.
Oh.
Okay. See, I'm losing some gold down here, so I'm just going to shove it back up. There we go. So you can see here, we got flakes all over the place. And let's just put it in one area by tap, tap, tap in the pan. The gold will jump to the side. It's dense. It's super dense. There we go. So that is what we were looking at. Oh, we have pieces down here too. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of color, which is about what you might expect. Plus there's a bunch of small microfines in there as well. So there we go. We got a little gold pocket right there. And the more we gold pan, the more we gold mine, the more gold you get. So how do you pick those up, you might ask? That's a curious question. You use a snuffer bottle. You got this snuffer right here, which is a straw inside of a bottle. And then you kind of clean it out with the pre-existing, and then submerge the gold and suck it right up. There we go. So now all this gold that we spent labor in most of the day is in the bottle. There's another little piece up here. There we go. And voila, the gold is now out of the pan and into the bottle. Ooh. So it's a long process, it's a labor-intensive process, but if you're having fun, then why do you care anyways? Oh goodness. Oh goodness. So I'm going to pan this out a couple more times. I'm going to pan out the metallics that I took out a couple more times, but that's pretty much the majority of it. A little bit at a time always adds up. And eventually, get yourself the size of a tooth of gold.